So today I'm going to be talking to you about the speech of information, which is your next speech assignment. But before I begin, I want to say that finishing this course in an online format is not ideal and certainly not what I would have wanted. So it's important that we communicate as we finish up the semester. If you have any questions after reviewing these videos or any questions about the information as we continue to go through the course, please email me and I'll be happy to provide you with further explanations or any other information I can provide to you. So if you have any questions, then just email me and let me know. As of now, I believe the best way for you to submit your speeches is by videotaping them and placing them on YouTube for me to review. If you don't have a YouTube account or for some reason that's not an option for you, I believe you can also upload videos through Canvas, so that's an option as well. My first choice would be YouTube, but if that's not something you can do, then please email me, let me know, let's talk about it, and we can also use the Canvas option. I want to be flexible. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about the informative speech. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about what is an informative speech, how is it different from other speeches, the 4 different types of informative speeches or 4 different approaches that you can take, and then finally we're going to talk about selecting your speech topic for your informative speech. So, what is an informative speech? The primary goal of an informative speech is to share knowledge. It's important to understand the difference between an informative speech and a persuasive speech. The main difference is that an informative speech presents a topic in a way that is meant to educate or increase awareness, but not to influence the audience, not to try and change minds, behaviors, or beliefs. However, it can be difficult to present a subject in a purely informational way. There can be some elements of persuasion in an informative speech and vice versa. You just want to keep in mind that the primary purpose of your speech is to share knowledge and not to advocate. So there's 4 different types of informative speeches. Speaker can share knowledge in a variety of ways, but we're going to talk about 4 different approaches that you can use, or 4 different types. And those are definition, explanation, description, and demonstration. So let's just get started with the first one, and that's definition. This is an approach that you are going to be use when you might be speaking to your audience about something that's a concept that's a little bit more complicated, or it might have terms that your audience may not be as familiar with, so you might need to use more clarity. So speech of definition is a speech in which you clarify an idea or a concept. You're going to be describing the meaning or purpose or identity of something. So since we're talking about definition, let's look at what we mean by definition. When I say I'm going to define something, what you might come to mind is, thinking about definition is the dictionary. So if I was to present an informative speech topic, for example, I've chosen an example, photojournalism. I would need to define what photojournalism is for my audience. And considering that my audience may not have a shared understanding of what journalism is, and photojournalism is a type of journalism, I'd want to start by looking up the term journalism in the dictionary, which I've done. And in the dictionary, journalism is a noun and is defined as the occupation of reporting, writing, editing, photographing, or broadcasting news, or of conducting any news organization as a business. That's a handful, I know. So the dictionary further defines photojournalism as a noun also, which means journalism in which photography dominates written copy, as in certain types of magazines, or news photography, whether or not it is intended primarily for a pictorial media. So let's expand on this example. I've come up with a thesis for my speech on photojournalism, and that would be the use of photography in telling a story is equally as important as the information being reported. So my main points for that speech would be, first of all, what is photojournalism? Second of all, how is photojournalism practiced? And then finally, how are photos used in covering the news? So that's the definition type of informative speaking. So our next one is going to be explanation. So explanation is providing reasons or causes or demonstrating relationships or series between your subject, offering some sort of interpretation. So we talk about explaining relationships. I've come up with an example of that for a speech, and that would be a speech that explains the relationship between bees and the environment. Now that's a pretty broad subject. So I'm going to be more specific and talk about how does beekeeping help the environment. So my thesis statement for this would be, the honeybee is vital to maintaining the balance of nature because of its role in pollination, which is how plants reproduce. So in recent years, beekeeping has grown in popularity, but it's more than just a hobby. Beekeepers actually help to protect the environment. So my main points for that speech would be A, that beekeeping promotes pollination, and B, beekeeping provides food for predators, and then finally, beekeeping helps to maintain nature's balance. So that would be an example of an explanation approach to an informative speech. So our third approach would be description. So a speech, informative speech that follows the approach of description is one which would provide details that help your audience to visualize your topic. Basically, this is the type of speech in which you want to help to paint a mental picture for your audience. You want to basically use very vivid imagery in this type of speech. So I came up with an example for this one as well. And that is my speech of description for my informative speech would be, what is a roadside attraction? So my thesis for this is that Florida's history of unique, eccentric, often ridiculous roadside attractions help to establish the state as an ideal tourism destination. And that along with beautiful weather and beaches, business owners entice families to stop and spend money along their travels with unusual sights that were just off the beaten path. We actually have two of these roadside attractions here in St. Augustine, and that is the Fountain of Youth and the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. So just for your information there, but and that would be what covered in my main points. So my main points for this would be, first of all, what is a roadside attraction? Second, what are some of the most iconic roadside attractions in Florida? Fountain of Youth and the Alligator Farm here. And then, how did roadside attractions positively impact Florida's economy? So our final type of speech is demonstration. So this is probably the most likely type of speech you'll be using to cover your informative topic, because this is a speech in which you actually demonstrate how something works. So it's kind of a how-to speech, so to speak. So for an example for that, I have come up with for you is how to grow tomatoes. We grow tomatoes in our backyard. We also have fruit trees. So my topic would be how to grow tomatoes. So my thesis statement for that would be that growing your own fruits and vegetables saves you money and can be a really fun way to make your meals at home healthier. My main points to support that thesis would be, first of all, the types of tomatoes, containers and soil, and then how to tend to and harvest your tomatoes. So those are the four main types of speeches of information. That's definition, explanation, description, and demonstration. So next, let's talk about choosing a subject for your informative speech. Whether or not you already have something in mind for your informative speech, many of you probably do, there are some things to consider when developing your topic. First, you should analyze your audience. Now, we've all been together for a while and we kind of know a little bit about our audience, and in fact, we ourselves are audience for these speeches in this class. So you want to think about your audience, consider your audience when selecting a topic. Now, typically, an audience really does want to learn something new from a speaker. So consider, how much does your audience already know about the topic that you're selecting? What do you want them to know about the topic? What do you think they would want to know about the topic? And then how will your message or your speech actually benefit the audience, or how will it apply to them? So knowing that your audience is an important part of your speech making selection, You also want to choose, just as importantly, something that you find interesting. You should choose a topic that you'll feel comfortable speaking on, something that you're confident in speaking about. And in order to do that, you want to brainstorm. Just like all of our speeches in this classes, we've used some brainstorming techniques. You throw a lot of ideas out there. You want to start to narrow down what it is, the specific topic that you want to talk about. So think about subjects that catch your attention, because that might also capture the attention of your audience. Things that you are interested in, whether it's technology, history, sports, entertainment, health, the arts, personal growth. And informative speech is really pretty wide open. There's lots of different things you can talk about in an informative speech. So you want to choose a topic that interests you, one that you're familiar with or that you have experience with personally, and also make sure that it's something that you feel comfortable speaking about. You want to be able to speak confidently because your audience really does need to see you as a credible speaker, especially in terms of persuasion or information. You want to make sure that you're choosing a topic that meets the goal of the assignment, that actually is an informational topic. And then you also want to make sure it's something you can manage within the time frame that you're allowed. So once you've selected a topic, then you're going to select an approach for that. Are you going to use the explanation approach, definition, demonstration, or description? You're probably going to use a combination. There's not any one type of these informational speech that you will exclusively use. They're basically just categories that you might look where your speech topic fits best. But for the most part, you're always going to be using some sort of combination of approaches in presenting your informational speech. It's not very likely that you'll be giving a speech where you don't necessarily have to define or describe something as part of that speech process. So to wrap all this up right now for this particular video, the goal of your informative speech should be to share knowledge but not influence. You want to maintain a goal of informing but not persuading. You'll need to select a speech topic that would be of interest to your audience and that you feel confident in presenting. And as you develop your speech, remember that there are different approaches you can use for that presentation. So the next video I'm going to be uploading that you'll find, I will be talking about how to organize your speech of information and how to develop that for your presentation. So as part of your assignment here in terms of these lectures, I'm going to be providing you with some additional videos to watch for examples to help as you move through the rest of the semester. I have put together a couple of samples, some links to some videos for informational speeches that I think you would find helpful. And so those links are going to be in the file that I've placed on Canvas. Now I've put in Canvas a file of informational speech notes, and in that file you will find your document there that gives all kinds of notes here about what I've been talking about today. That also at the end of it, it will have links to videos for you to watch, and I highly encourage you to watch those videos. It's well worth your time. I know that I myself find it easier to learn by example, sometimes more than just trying to learn independently. So, like I said, if you have any questions, please email me, and I'll be uploading future videos, and then I will be sending out emails to let you know when they've been uploaded and are ready for your review. Thanks.